Hi everyone, welcome back to Lux 360 Boost channel. So we have a very special guest today. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi everybody. Hi Rahul. I'm actually a wedding celebrant. And believe it or not, some people have never come across one. But in terms of wedding trends, I think that we're at the top of the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I trained fairly recently, but I've got a few weddings under my belt, which is amazing. And what we do, I actually wrote a whole long list. I won't go through the whole long list, but it included being a reporter, being a writer, being an administrator, like proofreading and printing and all that sort of stuff, being a producer, putting it all together,
Mm.
being a conductor, being the friend and support on the day, because that's the part of the wedding that's the really, nervous angst bit.
Yeah.
So I'm a prop. So there's lots of facets. And I think some people perhaps that have looked into a celebrant perhaps don't realise exactly what goes into the job behind the scenes. Not only that, I actually found the training quite intensive,
Oh, okay.
which surprised me because I too thought I could just stand up there. I'm quite confident in front of people. I'm friendly and
Yeah.
smiley. I can do that, but there is actually a lot more to it than I thought. So
Oh, that's very interesting.
yeah.
Ah, okay. So what was kind of like a bit about your journey as like a wedding celebrant? Like what inspired you to become one? I'll start with that question.
Okay, so this, bear with me, I like a prop or two.
Okay.
So this, this was my first inspiration. So this is my wedding day. It's
Oh,
my
wow.
wonderful husband, Kim. And
Yeah.
we went for a theme. We went for Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Um, I think you can see that. So we
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
pretty suited and booted there. And we had a celebrant. Um, and she just magicked up this from our point of view, she magicked it up. Is that a real word? I'm not sure. But she wrote this script, having spoken to us several times and asking us to fill in questionnaires and things like that, and found out every little bit. Well, not every bit. Found out lots about us
Yeah.
and what was important to us, what our life journey was, and how important different parts of it were. And so she wrote this fishy tale. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But basically, we met on an online dating platform called Plenty of Fish, just in case you've not heard of it.
Yeah.
And our first date was in a pub in Matlock. Some of you might have heard of that. And it's called the Fish Ponds. And
Mm.
then later on, some fishy inspiration in between there as well. But we ended up living on a boat. So I'm actually on our wide beam narrow boat at the moment,
Wow.
and we live on a marina on the River Trent. So when I say she wrote a fishy tale, it really was. It was all kind of water and, catching and, oh, it was all sorts. Catching him in the net and, the fishy tails and all that sort of thing. So she did a brilliant job. And I stood there, I was in awe of her because I'd never been to a wedding that was so personal. So I know it was my own wedding. So yes, I was a little biased perhaps.
Yeah.
But oh, she was amazing. And I thought, I wonder if I could do this. So I started to look for training courses.
Mm.
I trained with the same training academy that Ala Jones has actually recently trained with. So Ala Jones, the singer
Yeah.
that most people will have heard of, and he is an Academy of Modern Celebrants too, as well as me. So the training took us through all the different kind of styles of weddings, different elements that we could add, different kind of spirituality, all the do's and don'ts, the fact that we can add religious content,
Yeah.
whereas a registrar can't. We can do hand tying. I've done hand tying, which is an amazing part of a ceremony. Yeah, and it can be anywhere in a person's own garden, and that's the beauty of it. Why should we have to conform these days? And certainly with a celebrant. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So it sounds like a really interesting journey, and obviously you're quite for the background of the viewers, I've met Ju because I reached out to her. We worked at a wedding fair together. I had our white selfie booth there, so we've remarketed that as a luxury selfie booth now. And yeah, I could tell the passion you had about it since obviously starting, and I thought, you know what, we haven't had a wedding celebrant on the channel. It'd be really good to get someone like yourself. And I think as well, the thing for my users on the channel is I'm always telling the guys because we manufacture the photo booths and we sell them and we hire them, from the manufacturing side, I'm always
Yeah.
getting the question, how can I work with other people at venues, and no better to get other people on and people in the industry.
Yeah.
I've got one last question about the journey. What
Okay.
do you love most about officiating the weddings?
Just the fact that I get to spend time with a couple on one of the most special days of their life.
Mm.
Apart from maybe having a child, which is kind of up there too.
Yeah,
But it's the most romantic, the most loving expression that any two people can make to one another. And I'm there helping them. I don't get in the way,
yeah,
but I'm helping them. I mentioned being a producer. That's before the day. A
yeah.
conductor on the day. I get out of the way of photos. It's not about me, but I'm there propping them up if necessary. That had to happen recently at a wedding
Yeah.
near Manchester, and that was fun. But I love the fact that I can write in. So I'm sitting here in my posh outfit and everything, but I'm actually quite a crazy girl. I'm an ex skydiver,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, I think my personality is fun,
Yeah,
as in you, the wedding ceremony is romantic, and everybody is just going to be invested in that couple and their love. But I also like to add just a little bit of something different, and that could be something that gives the couple a chance to breathe.
mhm.
Whew, the anxiety, the nerves can just dispel,
Yeah.
whilst all their guests are having just a minute, 30 seconds, a minute of fun. And so, yeah, I love the fact that I can orchestrate it according to what a couple want.
Brilliant.
So it's brilliant.
So, yeah, no, it sounds amazing. And obviously, I know you've got such a passion. And I think that that fun aura inside of you definitely comes out for anyone that's met you. So, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I can say
very.
that. So I know that you recently like hosted the wedding fair, and obviously like that was the one where we had our selfie booth. What was kind of like the idea behind that? Was it a way for you to collaborate with like other professionals? Um,
Yeah,
is that what the approach was with it?
yeah. Two main things really. There are a lot of reasons, but two main things. Being relatively new in the wedding industry,
Mm.
it's just so important to network and to meet other professionals, to learn from them.
Yeah.
All the different kinds of weddings, all the venues. Oh, it's just the most wonderful industry to work in, as you know yourself.
Mm.
Um, but also, we're setting up some venues ourselves. Me and my husband are looking for small, intimate venues, don't cost the earth. That's one thing that we're passionate about.
Yeah.
And one of them is the Sawley Marina, south of Nottinghamshire. It's got a beautiful little cafe called Cafe Blue. It's got lots of parking, and it's just a perfect place with the swans and their cygnets and the herons, and children can go and feed the ducks. It's just beautiful, but it's not going to cost the earth. We are also talking to a motorbike shop with a beautiful cafe up at Donington Racecourse and a water sports centre. So I
Mm.
think it's about people's passions, really.
Yeah.
Um, so the reason for the wedding there was obviously to showcase that particular venue, to meet some lovely couples, to meet you guys. I mean, it's just amazing. You do such an incredible job, and such great people to work with. And won't it be nice if we are personally booked at the same wedding? This is what happens, where you can
Yeah.
say, "Ah."
Hey.
So
Yeah.
fantastic, yeah. Woo.
No, definitely. I mean, I think it was a great idea with what you did, and for the users, it was a phenomenal wedding fair, one of the best ones I've been to. And what I liked better about your wedding fair was it was so well organized with the fact of where you put everyone. So for the viewers, they might not know this, but we were basically next to some love letters and a lovely event planner, and I know she does other things as well, but
It
our
does.
yeah, and on the other side, we had a some Smoke City, I think they're called, from Derby, and obviously they do smoke machines. And I actually knew them already from the photo booth circuit because they work with another photo booth.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was a really good way to be placed, because sometimes you find when you go to the bigger chain wedding fairs that they'll just put you in a spot and you're in the back and you're not really near anyone. No one can even speak to
yeah,
you know. So I thought that
sure.
it was a really collaborative way that you'd done it. It was well organized. So I gotta give my props to you for that. It was I definitely,
Oh,
if you're doing another wedding fair, would definitely be interested in it. Um so for kind of my audience, that's mainly like events, photo booth people, would you say there's a wrong way to approach you and a right way to approach like a you? I mean, I know it'd be personal to yourself as a celebrant and what you do, but is there a certain way you like to be approached?
no, definitely not. I think most celebrants are they are celebrants because they're one of their kind of key skills is the ability to adapt to different situations, different people, different personalities. So not at all. I think we're probably amongst the most relaxed and laid back people,
Yeah,
and the most kind of I think have really good people skills, and I don't judge people. So
yeah,
no, I think it's working together. It's just understanding each other's wants and needs, and
yeah.
I don't think I've been. The funny thing is, if I can just say now, hope
Mm.
you're not going to ask this later, but I've
Yeah.
never been to a wedding where there hasn't been a photo booth.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
to be honest, if I went to a wedding and there was no photo booth, I'd be like, oh, they're missing a bit of a trick here because um, I think a lot of a lot of couples are not having wedding favours. So if anybody's not sure what a wedding favour is, something that they can take away, fridge
Yeah,
magnet, or perhaps something to consume their little bottle of something or chocolates. And it says, thank you for coming, basically.
yeah.
But I think the best wedding favour, never mind, sorry to wedding favour suppliers out there, but I do
Yeah,
think the best thing that any guest can take away from a wedding, apart from having enjoyed the day from start to finish and just be in awe of all the choices that the couples made and the beauty of the venue and everything, is a memento in the form of a photograph or photographs, plural.
yeah.
Um, because we want to remember us as a wedding guest. We want to remember being there, enjoying it, and who doesn't love a prop or two? Oh no, I should have brought my cowboy hat. I forgot it. We
Yeah,
all love a prop or two,
yeah.
whether it's a flipping cowboy hat or some crazy alien mask or horse head or something. But it's just the most fun, isn't it? And it's the best thing to take away, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's touching on what you said. It's the experience, isn't it? And having that memorable experience.
Yeah,
And it's interesting that you touched on it, that every wedding you've been to has had one, because obviously there was a big debate within the photo booth industry lately. whether
Yeah,
certain photo booths are dying out now. And I don't think there is because I personally, within the demographics of where we are in the UK, I don't think there is. I know a
yeah,
lot of this discussion was like mainly around America. And I still am having people come to us, and I know we're very unique because we build like bespoke photo booths, obviously, designed by us. But even in general, for the set, I'm still having people come up to me and say, "What is a 360 photo booth?" Or "I've never seen one of those. What is that?" So I think
yeah,
it's still an open market, but you touched on a really important part. It's the experience for people. People love trying on the props. We, as photo booth operators, will always have that point where we've got the little kids that are playing with the props and going through them, and that's the experience, isn't it, for them? And those little kids are going to
adorable.
remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah, so it's making the wedding day memorable, and that experience factor. And I think for the guys, that's a good way to sell it. So really for the kind of
yeah,
app users watching, so if you're going to approach the celebrant, I guess it's bringing you guys some sort of value in the relationship and the partnership.
yeah.
It's something that'd be important, isn't it?
Well, I think also, I mean, a lot of weddings, the photo booth comes on late, but I think more and more couples are having twilight weddings
Mm,
where they're getting married later. They are choosing to have one meal or buffet or whatever it is they want to do, rather than I think the traditional way was, get married at midday and then go on to your wedding breakfast after the photos, and then guests are kind of around for a period of time, and that could vary, but say 3 hours, without an awful lot going on
yeah.
before the evening guests come. So I think a lot of people are opting to kind of condense it all. It cuts costs. It means you can have more people to attend the ceremony because it's one group of people, generally speaking.
Mm,
And so yes, I have been officiating weddings where there's uh, been a selfie booth, and I have partaken when invited, of course. Just push everybody out of the way and jump on. And it's just great fun, isn't it? It's entertainment,
yeah.
and also, as I say, something to take away, to remind you. And it's lovely when the venue or the couple's name and the dates on there as a reminder. That's really special, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely,
So
definitely. So I mean, like that's interesting because I guess that's kind of like a trend that you're seeing for weddings right now, I'd presume.
yeah,
What we're seeing is like the main time always seems to be 7 to 9, or there's always seems to be a 7 start. So people are always having the photo booth in the evening. So I could kind of get what you were
yeah,
saying about obviously sometimes you might be officiating and it's kind of done by the time the photo booth's there. But I guess it's still
yeah.
quite good for you to have a collaborative relationship with those people. Different suppliers, isn't it? That's
Well, I
interesting.
think
So
yeah, I think the other thing. Sorry about that. But I think it's good. I'll meet a couple at the beginning, pretty much at the beginning, and they'll perhaps select their venue, and then there's an order, isn't there, of preferred suppliers. It might be the photographer next. They might not go and try dresses on just yet because if it's 2 years in advance, but they certainly want to get their celebrant sorted.
yeah.
That's an important part. And but then there's all the other elements of the wedding that they want to bring to their special day, including your services. So I've actually, when I attended, trying to think if I've got it somewhere, I do. So
Yeah.
when I attend any wedding fair or photo shoot, which I do quite often, I
Yeah.
have an actual guest book of my own,
Oh wow.
and I'm sure you're in there. Yes, you are. And anybody that I spot that I think they're really good,
Yeah.
I want to be able to recommend that person to young couples who, I can say, oh, what are the suppliers are you looking for? I know some really good. Let me pass on their details. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So yes, I have my little guest book, and you're firmly in there, so that's good.
Oh, the best. No, that's good. I think that's great, and it's a good level of
Actually,
work. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say I've had a new website built,
Mm,
which is amazing. A few little bits to add, but I have a supplier, a venue, and an inspiration area on there.
yeah.
And so I've got some recommended suppliers on my website. So that's Ju Santino Wedding, dead easy to find,
Yeah.
but some mood boards and that sort of thing. But uh, yeah, only the best of the best will go on my website, of course. So
I love it. No, that's great. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing the same thing, I think, like on our website, we're going to have an area, kind of like one page just for few suppliers because we do get asked. Obviously, I think like the photo booth comes, like you say, after everything's been sorted out, like venue, yourself, and then obviously for the, I think people think about the entertainment as a last thing, if that kind of makes sense. Um, so yeah,
uh,
yeah, you think?
sorry.
No, no, if you disagree, that's fine. But I mean, just
No, I do. I was agreeing. I'm just such a chatterbox. I'm like, I think I have ADHD. I'm sure of it, which is a good thing. Just
no,
want to
no,
like jump in all the time.
that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's in that sort of, I don't know, middle to last stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Around maybe decor and things like that. I do think venue, obviously, they've got to get, young couples have got to get their venue, if that's what the route that they're going to go down, get their venue sorted. And then maybe photographer, and whether they're having a church wedding
Mm,
registrar or a celebrant, that's an important decision. And then I think everything else fits together, doesn't it? But
yeah.
yeah, it depends on the venue as well as to what sort of vibe they're going, whether they've got a theme as well. It's always
Yeah.
good to have a photo. My daughter got married. They had got married about a month ago,
Mm,
and they had a Viking theme,
yeah.
and they had axe throwing and a photo booth.
Oh wow.
We didn't know you then when they booked it. We didn't know you
Ah,
then.
that's fine.
And yeah, very ethereal look. So that was amazing. But yeah, the sky's the limit really, and the photographs, whether it's a photographer or a photo booth, it's all part of that day. It's all part of enjoying that day forever. You've got your memory, and then you've got photos, maybe your videographer, your photo booth,
Yeah.
and maybe an audio book as well, which is
Yeah.
another kind of trend at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, definitely is. And we've got the newer one to the audio book out now. So the video book's now out, which is video and audio. So
Oh, okay,
you
cool.
pick up the phone of the audio guest spot, but it's recording you,
Yeah.
so it records a message. So the technology
Oh, that's
is
super
always
cool.
advancing. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
it gives you those video messages because you can hear someone, and obviously that's a great message. For
Yeah,
we've had it as feedback, like, oh, we've had our grandparents on here. I think we had one where someone had said like the grandparent hasn't got long left, and know it, they're realistic to it, but the fact that they can listen to that memory forever.
yeah.
Now
Oh, yeah.
obviously we've advanced that. Now you can see and hear the memory.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. But
yeah,
one thing I've heard from couples about that
mm,
is the fact that at the beginning of the night, the messages are all, oh, I'm so happy for you and wish you all the
yeah.
best of you. And then the end of the night, I can't repeat what gets said then.
We probably heard some. As photo booth operators, believe me, we've heard some. So yeah.
So a bit of editing going on with the audio books, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Or the other one is just kids messing around. If it's dry hired and we don't have a staff member there, which we don't like to do because we like to keep an eye on it, so you don't get those kind of messages. But I think if they're left, then it's definitely the case. We've had it where you just hear a kid clicking down the phone, putting it up and down, and that's the other thing as well. But I mean, like you say, it's editing it and dealing with it diplomatically so you can give the couple best version of the memories that come there. And you know, sometimes we've had banter that we didn't know that the couple knows with another relative or groom, and they've left a message, and we thought it's a bit lewd, and it's not being. It's just banter, and they're like, keep it on. So you know, sometimes as
Well,
well, there is that
yeah.
fun relationship. People have nicknames for family members and stuff like that. So I guess it's dealing with it in gist, isn't it?
You can just imagine them sitting there, invite a few friends and family around and listen to it. It would be very entertaining.
Yeah. So
Oh,
as someone that's involved
but
in,
well,
oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
no, 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 no.
That's
After
fine.
you.
So I was just going to say, as someone that's, you know, like involved in the weddings, like what advice would you give to professionals, like not just photo booth companies, because we've had photographers on the channel, we've had videographers, and we do have pretty much anyone from kind of an event side, probably more predominantly photo booth companies. But what advice, just on a general scale, would you give them to ensure like they're delivering a good service if they're starting out in the industry for a couple's big day? What do you think are the important things?
I think obviously adequate training. I don't know whether you provide that for your clients. Adequate training so they know exactly what they're doing for everybody. Adequate training. Make sure that you are well rehearsed and that you're prepared, well prepared,
Yeah.
arriving early, and remembering. I think the key thing is remembering that this may be the 50th wedding that you've done that year, that particular
Yeah.
year, but it's their one wedding, it's their only wedding, and it's a special day, and not to lose sight of that. I think that's the key thing.
Definitely. No, that sounds very, I think that's very important. And I think for us as well, it's not bothering the bride and groom too much. Making sure obviously you have an
Mm.
automated system to ask those questions because they don't want the photo booth or a photographer or videographer ringing them on the day saying, what info do I need now and what info do I need there? You have to be organized with it and collaborative. So I think that's really important as well. But no, thank you, Jude. That's
Yeah,
been absolutely great. I think that everyone has got to see a lot more about the celebrant side of things for all the viewers on the channel. And I think they've got some great takeaways from this, especially with how important a celebrant is, how you guys are kind of the first in the draw. So if they, you know, in the picking of the wedding, I should say, you know, you're the first four, I should say, as well. I would like to think the first four. So it's really important how you guys are valued within the event sector, and also as well how companies in the event sector like photographers will look at the right approach to collaborative working with yourselves. Because obviously, like you
yeah,
said, every celebrant's going to be different, but I think it's given them a really, really good overview of that. So thank you for the time today. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate
thank
it.
you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, what I'll do is when this all gets uploaded and everything, I will send you over a link and everything to the channel. And if anyone's got any questions for you, I'm sure they might have in the comments. I'll send them over to you as well. I'm sure you'll get back to me an answer.
Thank you so much. Just one final thing. So I have my
Yeah.
celebrant book here.
Okay.
So we've come to the end of this podcast on your special day. And without further ado, I'd like to announce that this is the end of the podcast. Yay!
Okay. I love
So
it.
obviously a terrible slant on it, but yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
I love that. I love that. All right, Joe.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Bye.